visits and emergency services are also available. Call 448-0100, WhatsApp 276-5213 or visit any of their locations. Cross Street, Roseau, Pickard, Portsmouth, Marigot or Grand Bay. Lafayette House Medical Laboratory. My choice, your choice, our choice.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, Parliamentary Representative for the Roseau South constituency, Shakira Lokat-Hippolyte, joins the call to protect Dominica's citizenship by investment CBI program. In news from the region, Trinidad's Prime Minister accepts Salaries Review Commission salary hike proposal and claims it's justified. And internationally, Israel warns against returning to 60 Lebanon villages. Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of news when we return.
Christmas in this year.
Can I have this? We have an extra $400 from Flow. You can have everything you want.
More gifts with Flow. With Christmas in, win weekly prizes up to 10,000 in cash. Sign up for a postpaid bundle or a broadband plan.
We Christmasing with free groceries from Flow, plus a chance to win weekly prizes and up to $10,000 cash. Head over to your nearest Flow store or visit discoverflow.co. Flow, we Christmasing.
More gifts with Flow.
DBS News.
Welcome back. Making the headline this evening, Parliamentary Representative for the Roseau South constituency, Shakira Lokat-Hippolyte, has joined the call to protect Dominica's citizenship by investment CBI program. She says several projects within the Roseau South constituency, including the Eggleston Housing Project, are funded by the Citizenship by Investment program. Hippolyte led a media tour of the Eggleston Housing Project on Thursday. We do apologize for not having this clip. The Dominica Electricity Services (DOMLEC) and the Independent Regulatory Commission (IRC) are one step closer towards reaching an agreement on the ongoing tariff review. This follows a series of stakeholder consultations with customers and consumers of electricity in Dominica. Communication specialist at the IRC, Idona John Baptist, gives this report on the progress of the tariff review and the recently held consultations.
The first segment of the consultation discussed DOMLEC's capital investment plan. Stakeholders were required to consider DOMLEC's proposed capital investment value of $45.9 million for the period of 2025 to 2027. The Commission, on the other hand, proposed an investment value of $34 million for the same period. The outcome of the proceedings is intended to determine DOMLEC's investing activities and the value of investment that will be absorbed in the company's regulated rate base when new rates are applied. The second segment of the meeting focused on the utility company's revenue requirement. IRC and DOMLEC asked stakeholders to consider the proposed revenue requirement of $67 million. IRC has dubbed the amount reasonable and justifiable under normal operating conditions. Stakeholders were given up until November 30th, 2024 to ask questions and provide comments on the proposals. The IRC will then issue its comments on stakeholders' first responses on December 13th via the publication of a second consultation document for each proposal. This will allow stakeholders to get a second opportunity to speak on the matter. The window for responses will remain open until December 27th, 2024. IRC's final decision on both matters will be published in January of 2025.
Communication specialist at the IRC, Idona John Baptist. Back to the headline story, parliamentary representative for the Roseau South constituency, Shakira Lockhart Hippolyte, has joined the call to protect Dominica's citizenship by investment CBI program. She says several projects within the Roseau South constituency, including the Eggleston Housing Project, are funded by the Citizenship by Investment program. Hippolyte led a media tour of the Eggleston Housing Project on Thursday.
This particular project that we speak of and where we are was funded by the CBI. Now, I know there are many who are bashing the CBI program, who are trying to stop the CBI program by going to the courts, by trying to plant things in the minds of Dominicans, the average Dominicans, to get them to protest against the CBI program. But we have seen not only in Dominica, the region and the world have their own CBI program. And the most vulnerable people in our society. And this is a testament of one of the projects that is done under the CBI program. And all other housing, we have Soufriere, I think that is completed, or if not 90%. We have at Point Michel as well. We have City Breeze. We have in Grand Bay, we have in Grand Fort, we have all over. In fact, not only housing, but in health. My own health center, because the people of Newtown were subjected to very poor conditions after Hurricane Maria because the health center was damaged. And when I came in as PAL rep, that was my first order of business, to ensure that Newtown gets a health center.
Parliamentary representative for the Roseau South constituency, Shakira Lockhart Hippolyte. Police are investigating a report of malicious damage to a motor vehicle at Point Michel. Officers from the Point Michel police station, along with a scenes of crime technician from the CID, have commenced investigation into the matter. The report is in addition to two similar reports that were logged last week at Point Michel police station. The two reports of malicious damage to vehicles last week are being investigated. Police say they are actively working on these reports with a view to bringing the perpetrators and the perpetrator to justice. In other news this evening, Staff Captain of the MV Zuiderdam, Carl van Overloop, says he is very impressed with Dominica's docking arrangements. MV Zuiderdam made its inaugural cruise call to Dominica today. Captain Overloop also praised the Ministry of Tourism and the port officials for accommodating them 2 weeks ago during an unscheduled call to the island.
Truly a pleasure to be here, and as said, it is our first scheduled call. We happened to be here 2 weeks ago on an unscheduled call, when due to itinerary changes we were looking for a place to go, and we were very impressed with the flexibility of the port authorities, the pilot, the tourism industry, that last minute we could come here, get the information from the pilot to safely dock the vessel, and gave a wonderful time to our guests then, and the feedback then was very positive, and I'm sure today it will be the same. As to the docking arrangements, we are very happy. Your bollards are in the right position for us, so no further adjustments needed for us. So thank you very much for that. In Dominica today for the first scheduled call in the history of this ship.
Staff Captain of the MV Zuiderdam, Carl van Overloop. MV Zuiderdam docked in Dominica with a capacity of over 1,900 passengers. Meantime, Product Promotions Manager at Discover Dominica Authority, Odile John Baptist, has reaffirmed the government's commitment in enhancing Dominica's tourism facilities.
The cruise industry plays a vital role in Dominica's economic development. It provides essential support to the livelihoods of our tourism service providers and our local community. Our government remains committed to the enhancement of our berthing facilities to accommodate vessels of all sizes. building the capacity of service providers to deliver exceptional on-island guest experiences, and as well as the upgrades of our many sites to ensure that the visitors have an enjoyable stay on island. Captain, we are confident that your passengers will leave with unforgettable memories today as they go out to enjoy our destination. We look forward to strengthening our partnership with your company and ensuring that every visit to Dominica is as seamless and enjoyable as possible.
Product Promotions Manager at Discover Dominica Authority, Odell John Baptist. Finance Minister Dr. Irvin McIntyre has stated that the procurement of a vehicle by the Office of the Prime Minister was not for the exclusive use of the Prime Minister's children. The Finance Minister, in response to public debate on the matter, said Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit was not involved in the procurement of the vehicle. Curtis Matthew reports.
The finance minister said the vehicle in question, valued at $184,500, was included in the 2024-2025 budget estimates. He said every step taken adhered strictly to the Constitution of Dominica and the Financial Administrations Act, ensuring that both the spirit and letter of the law were upheld in full compliance with Dominica's legal framework. He added that attempts to characterize this purchase as improper and for the exclusive use of the Prime Minister's children is misleading and demonstrates a fundamental misunderstanding of parliamentary procedures. Dr. McIntyre says the vehicle was never intended for such exclusive use. It was requested by the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force to be operated exclusively by its members for the performance of official state duties. Its primary function includes a national and security component serving to support essential government operations and ensure the mobility and safety of key personnel, including but not limited to visiting heads of state. Additionally, it replaces an older vehicle that was previously used to carry out these critical national duties and was no longer fit for purpose. He says the unfortunate and regrettable wording of an internal memo has been exploited to create a narrative that is simply untrue. The finance minister stated that Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit was not involved in this decision and has instructed that his children will not use this vehicle under any circumstance. Dr. McIntyre noted that he must underscore that at no time did the Prime Minister ask for any vehicle to be purchased to specifically transport his children to and from school. He says the government of Dominica remains committed to transparency and proper governance and urges the opposition to refrain from misrepresentation of the facts and to engage in constructive dialogue that benefits the people of Dominica. Curtis Matthew for DBS News.
Our thanks to Curtis Matthew for that report. On the feature segment of the DBS Evening News, we hear the story of an ordinary Dominican who has impacted Dominica in one way or the other. Christy Richards Graham was a teacher at St. Luke's Primary for 42 years. She was recognized by the Dominica Association of Teachers this year. Christy Richards Graham is our feature on the DBS Evening News.
Well, for me, teaching just came naturally. It's what I always wanted to do. You know, some people fall into a job because they're looking for a salary. For me, it was what I wanted to do. And I was part of the school's first, almost what we have like the NEP program. I was paid by the school per hour. When I started, I was under the mentorship of Sister Elodie. And for me, it just cemented that this is what I want to do. Some of my first students in that class with Sister Elodie were Mr. Ian Pinard, Mr. De Gallery, who is now principal at the Sophia Primary. So these were my first students, and it just cemented this is what I want to do, and I dove into it. 42 years later, this is where I'm at. Well, as a teacher, you want to see your children do well. And sometimes we think doing well is getting a scholarship. That's not what it was for me. doing well for me for a child is taking that child, whether it is because they're missing a little bit of love, they're missing some attention, they need just that basic care, just to give them a positive image of themselves. That for me cemented it. And of course, if they did well academically, that's the icing on the cake, but to see your children grow from a child who didn't know something, who wasn't sure, who had no confidence, and then they can stand up and face a crowd. They can act, they can sing, they can dance, they can do mathematics, they can do whatever it is. That, as the teacher, is what you're looking for.
What's your own view of the profession as it is today in Dominica?
Well, personally, I think teachers are not recognized for the role that we play. There is nothing you do in life that didn't have the influence of a teacher. And like if somebody gave me a gift that says, the influence of a great teacher can never be erased. The influence of any teacher cannot be erased. So we're hoping that all teachers would be great. But to me, we're not getting that kind of recognition from parents, even from students themselves, and more so from the powers that be. I think it's not just about finance. Maybe we cannot get the biggest salary in the world, but recognize the work that we do. And instead of always saying, teachers need to do this and teachers need to do that, talk about teachers have done this, teachers have done that. This is what teachers are doing. And maybe people will want to stay in the service and feel appreciated. In any profession that you are in, you feel appreciated, you're going to want to stay.
Christy Richards Graham, and that's the National Focus, Regional and International Developments. Up next.
Okay, Max, if I'm going to steal Christmas this year, I'll need a smart TV to keep an eye on the who's, a smartphone to call for backup, cash, and a stove to bake this ham. Seriously, I can get all this for free if I signed up for Flow.
With Christmasing with thousands of gifts even the Grinch would love. Sign up for a postpaid mobile bundle or high-speed broadband and win big every week. Visit discoverflow.co now.
DBS News.
In news from the region, the Trinidad and Tobago government has accepted the recommendations of the Salaries Review Commission, SRC, which will pave the way for a pay increase substantial in some cases for politicians and other public officers. Breaking his silence on the matter, Trinidad's Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, said he accepts that some members of the public will not be happy with their decision. The 120th Salaries Review Commission report proposed salary increases for Trinidad's Prime Minister, opposition leader, MPs, members of the judiciary, and the police commissioner, among others. And internationally, the Israel military has warned Lebanese citizens not to return to 60 villages in the south of the country 3 days into a ceasefire after more than a year of fighting with Hezbollah. More than 1 million Lebanese have been displaced by the fighting, mostly from the south. The truce came into effect on Wednesday morning, though officials in Israel and Lebanon have accused each other of already breaching it. Lebanon accused Israel of violating the agreement multiple times and said it was monitoring the situation. And that's news, the DBS Evening Sports Report. Up next with Curtis Matthew.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Let's begin the DBS Evening Sports Report with cricket news. Cricket West Indies President Dr. Keisha Shallow says there will be severe consequences following last weekend's decision by the Jamaica and Barbados teams for forfeiting last weekend's regional Super 50 overs finals. Rain delayed the start of the finals by almost 5 hours, and both teams refused to play the finals despite assurances from the match officials that it was safe to play the game. Cricket West Indies has confirmed that both captains will be charged for refusing to play. Dr. Shallow says the situation was also embarrassing for the sponsors and all other stakeholders.
There will be consequences for actions. The matters before the match officials, and then we're waiting to see the playing conditions provide for this. It's just no different from a player with descending order and so on, going against the umpire's decision really. So it will be matter will first be dealt with. There will be a level of breach against the parties involved. However, we have been in touch with the sponsors, the main sponsor in this instance, and fortunately they were there witnessing. They had representatives they were witnessing, so they fully understand that this is a situation that wasn't avoidable from Cricket West Indies' perspective, and we have since ensured that we have sort of compensate for whatever damages done done by that incident. So they are quite comfortable, and we are confident that we will proceed with our very good and fruitful partnership.
And that's Cricket West Indies President Dr. Keisha Shallow. Meantime, President of the Jamaica Cricket Association, Dr. Donovan Bennett, says he's disappointed with the turn of events which led to the forfeiting of the regional Super 50 overs final between Jamaica and Barbados. Dr. Bennett says the matter was handled badly by players.
At the end of the day, it's umpires who have the right to decide whether the conditions are fit for play or not. So I would have preferred if the two teams had acted in a way acknowledging the supremacy of the umpires in this matter. Yes, I know that there were problems with the condition. I know that there were problems with the time given for warm-up to take place. And it's not just warm-up, because some of the players who are carrying injuries would have to be taped. So I know that the players thought that there was not sufficient time to be properly warm and to be properly taped. But having said all of that, the umpires are the ones who have the power and the responsibility to make the assessment and to decide whether play is possible or not. So I would have preferred if play had taken place, and then whatever problems the captains and the team had could have gone into the captain's report. I think that would have been a better option. But it is what it is, and I know that some charges are being leveled against the captain, serious charges. So we just have to wait until the disciplinary committee meets, and of course, I'm sure that REPA will get involved.
And that's the president of the Jamaica Cricket Association, Dr. Donovan Bennett. Head coach of the DSFC Football Club, Kunta Charles, feels this year could be the year his club takes the next step into the DFA Premier League. DSFC are among 4 teams left standing as the DFA Division 1 semi-finals will get underway tomorrow. DSFC, Do It Center Mighty Avengers, St. Joseph and RC Doctors are the four teams fighting for a spot in the Premier League. St. Joseph will battle the RC Doctors in the first semi-final tomorrow, while DSFC will meet Do It Center Mighty Avengers. Both games will be at the DFA Technical Center.
Yeah, as far as preparation rise, we're all focused on one mission. We're all headed in the same direction. The boys are ready to go. We ready.
And last year, Kunta, you guys came so close to getting into the Premier League. So what sort of lessons did you learn from the campaign last season, and what are some of the mistakes that you'll be hoping not to repeat?
Well, we already corrected our mistake from last season, like my captain just pointed out to me, because we came out in the quarterfinals last year, and right now we're in the semi. Along the way, we had inexperienced players, and right now all the players experience what it was like to knock out, because after the game, they felt that emotion. So now everybody trying to correct that. We added a few more players to help us along the way. What we will not allow this time around is to allow the game to go too long. We have to kill off the game, and everybody's focused. Like I said earlier, we're all headed in the same direction. We all have one goal.
And that's the head coach of the DSFC Football Club, Kunta Charles. Meantime, Mighty Avengers head coach Kareem Regis says the team is looking forward to tomorrow's challenge.
Yeah, it's been a great journey for us. It's been a great journey for the Avengers. This is our first time competing in the semi-finals. As you said, it's 2 more games from Premier, and that's the mentality that we've had over the past few months in training. We're just taking it one game at a time, one moment at a time, one half at a time, one play at a time, and the guys are really looking forward to this clash. DS is a really good team. Both clubs came up around the same time and have been always compared, by the footballing public as 2 of the more elite young teams in the first division. And for a lot of fans, they thought that Mighty Avengers versus DS would have been the finals this year. But I guess we're getting that show a little earlier than expected. We're getting us in the semi-finals, but my team is ready. My club is ready. The guys are really willing and able, and we want to put on a show for our fans, for our sponsors. And if everything can go our way, we'll be booking our place in the finals.
And that's the Mighty Avengers head coach Kareem Regis. The winner of the DFA Division 1 League gets an automatic promotion to the Premier League, while the runners-up will play a playoff match with the 9th place team in the Premier League to decide which team will be in the 2025 Premier League. Meanwhile, Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla FC will go in search of their second silverware this weekend as they clash with Valvoline United in the finals of the President's Cup on Sunday. Dubla captured the DFA Premier League title last weekend and will be hoping to add another trophy Sunday at the DFA Technical Center. That game gets underway at 6:30 Sunday evening. At 4 o'clock, it will be the 3rd place match between Sagicor Southeast and Promex Harlem United. West Indies captain Craig Brathwaite is hoping the team can keep the same intensity as they get set to face Bangladesh in the second test in Jamaica tomorrow. The West Indies are leading 1-0 heading into the second test match. Brathwaite says conditions look like they will suit the West Indies' fast bowling strengths, but the team still has to put in the work.
It's good to see, as I said, the covering of the grass on the surface. And there, that just the surface. You gotta go there and bowl well, and obviously take the catches and bat well and put runs on the board. So we're looking forward to doing that. Yeah, very special. Jamaica is a place that I love, and personally, as a West Indies group, we love to play here. And against Pakistan, I remember, obviously, I had a great partnership, to win us the game. But the bowlers really enjoyed bowling. I think the ball did a bit of seaming around majority of the game, which was good. So good memories, good experiences, obviously that I could share with the batsmen and obviously the bowlers as well, Kimar Roach being there. So yeah, we really look forward to playing this last test here.
As for yourself, you had that half century and a couple 40s against England, but not the standard that you hold yourself to. How important is it for you to try and end the year on a high, trying to get some more runs on the board?
Yeah, very, very important. For me, obviously my role, is to make it easier for the guys to come, and set that foundation. I'll be aiming to do that. That's always the aim. Just gotta stay tough and lead this batting group.
And that's the West Indies captain Craig Brathwaite. Meanwhile, the West Indies vice captain Joshua De Silva says he's looking forward to see what the West Indies fast bowlers will be able to do on the historically fast tracks in Jamaica.
Raw pace and talent. Led very well by Kima Zari. We have the newcomers like Shama. We have Jaden, who's been around a little while but still learning his trade. But the pace is there, and you can see the fear that they put into the batsmen's eyes. We took 18 wickets only because they declared the first inning and then declared the second inning as well. So for us, it's about using that advantage that we have, and hopefully we can make that the reason we make it. As always nice to be in Jamaica. Last time I was here, I got a first class 100 against Jamaica, so it's nice. Hopefully that form can continue from then. But yeah, coming here 1-0 up in the series, it's always a good feeling. We're not finished yet. We're looking to make that 2-0 and win the series.
And that's the West Indies vice-captain Joshua De Silva. He's, however, calling for consistency from the batters.
The first innings we got 450, which was a goal. You're not going to bat well all the time, but at the end of the day, we want to be consistent. I think that's what the batsmen need to do, myself included. I haven't been as consistent as I should be. So as a batting group, we have some pretty young batsmen in the middle order who play less than 10 test matches or just coming up on 10. So for us, it's about learning how to be more consistent, getting those 400, 300 plus scores consistently. We know we're going to get the wickets. It's just about the batsmen putting on the totals, and I'm not worried about it. I believe that we have the talent. It's just about the boys finding their feet properly, and we'll get the job done.
And that's the West Indies vice-captain Joshua De Silva. Let's go back to some football news. Captain of the Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla FC football team, Brian Thomas, has called for more incentives for footballers. Thomas says that the DFA needs to put more emphasis on ensuring players are treated fairly. The Dubla captain has also raised issue with the marketing of Dominica's football and the inconsistencies with organizing proper league fixtures.
I find the players not getting enough incentive to play the game. Like everybody else will be getting incentives. For example, that last season we was getting player of the match was getting $100, and then that does completely shut off. Like I find that it's unfair to the players and the club, because with Dubla now, the man of the match would get like $100, and then we probably split it 40, 60, 40, 60 to the player, 40 to the club, and it will also provide help us pay our transportation to the uni club and ease up. But other than that, I find that players don't get enough incentives to play the game, and everybody else benefiting. When I say everybody else, I don't want to take out bread in nobody's mouth, but I find it unfair to us as players that people will be getting money, and then a player of the match will be getting a six-pack or stag, and I find it unfair to us. I do find we deserve that kind of treatment. And then the next thing is the marketing. The marketing for our leagues, I do find it, I didn't find it was up to par. For example, like you already use the social media platform, I do find, and then the fixtures as well. I want to touch on the fixtures because plenty times we set up the league fixtures and we didn't even know that, okay, when going to be a break, let's say like we need to see the whole league, first round and second round. That is where I feel we need to improve in terms of fixtures.
And that's the captain of the Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla FC football team, Brian Thomas. He says while the DFA needs to improve on the incentives, the players also have to be accountable.
And then the players still have to hold accountability for their performances as well. It's not just a matter of getting, but a matter of giving, a matter of selling the product as a player. So I wouldn't just talk about the association not doing, and the players not even reaching that level to actually receive. So I was saying the big word here is accountability, and then next season we need to do better in terms of incentives for the players, in terms of fixtures, in terms of marketing. Because
and that's the captain of the Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla FC football team, Brian Thomas. Finally, some cricket news. Sri Lanka will require another 413 runs for victory in the first test against South Africa. Sri Lanka, chasing a target of 516 for victory, were 103 for 5 at Storms on day 3. Earlier in the day, South Africa declared on 366 for 5. Tristan Stubbs hit 122 and Temba Bavuma made 113. Scores heading into day 4. It's South Africa 191 and 366 for 5 declared. Sri Lanka 42 all out and 103 for 5. And Joseph Fadul, that 42 made by Sri Lanka in that test match was one of the lowest test scores ever in the history of the game. Sri Lanka scoring 42 all out in their test match against South Africa. There has been a lot of talk about that score, one of the lowest ever in the history of Test cricket. That too will conclude the DBS Evening News and Sports this evening. You heard the news with Leila Langford, the news with Leila Langford, the sports with me, Curtis Matthew. On behalf of all of us here at DBS, the news and the sports departments, and our link person, Joseph Fadul, Curtis Matthew saying good night. By the way, Joseph Fadul, the listeners don't want to leave DBS throughout the night. DBS will be on top throughout the night, and we come back here tomorrow. Leroy Waddick's Charles, the ambassador, will be on with all the good music tonight. Then tomorrow, another full day here at DBS. I think you open the innings very early in the morning. Joseph Fadul tomorrow morning, and then DBS continues throughout the day with some great programming. You don't want to leave DBS at all throughout the weekend. Curtis Matthew saying good night.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe, and Rudolph Thomas can meet all